So I'm sewing today, first Saturday in a while that I don't have anything work-wise to do or any other plans. And so I'm sewing and I'm just, I'm doing the Huon shirt by Huon Broad, and I'm doing the short sleeve version. And I'm just deciding which buttons. Initially, I have wanted to use these pretty buttons I got from Pigeon Wishes, but they're just big. Look, if you look at it, you know, and obviously there will be a shirt attached to it, so, but they're just really, really big, I think. I don't know. I just think they might be too big. And I found in my button box these sort of, you can see it a little bit, they're sort of slightly iridescent blue ones, and I have 6 of them, which seems to be kismet. Seems to be meant to be. So I think I'm going to use them. I also kind of just like these kind of buttons, you know, but hey ho, we do what we do. So I'm gonna sew my button placket onto my shirt front. Really like the fabric. I hope I don't mess up this t-shirt, or shirt rather, it's not a t-shirt. So yeah, let's do that. So I am going to stop for now. I have done the fronts. So here we have the hidden button placket. Yeah. And I have also sewn together and serged the back panel. I know it doesn't pattern match, but it doesn't matter because this is gonna be gathered into the yoke, so you won't be able to tell. So I'm dressed for a day of sewing, and these are the trousers that I made. Not quite there yet, but they're very wearable and very comfy. And day 2 of sewing Huon, or however you say it. But before, I need to clean the kitchen. And tell me you have ADHD without telling me you have ADHD. I clearly had to leave all the cupboards open this morning. So this is every cupboard I was in this morning. Yup. So, a little recap of yesterday. So yesterday I did the hidden button placket on the shirt, and I also sewn the other side of the shirt where the buttons will go. So that's done. But just a little bit in terms of what is the pattern like. I don't think I could have figured out the button placket if there hadn't been a video for it on the Huon Broad YouTube channel, which I shall link down below. The instructions were confusing. So yeah, I'm glad there was that YouTube video. In hindsight, if I were to do it again, I would center the buttonholes, not in the middle, but slightly towards the edge. Even though I stuck with the seam allowance, it feels now that they're off center. You know, but hey, we live and laugh and we learn, yeah? So if the shirt is what I think it will be, it's not going to be the last time that I'm making it. So, you know, I made a note in my little sewing journal, because yeah, I do have one. And yeah, and so today I'm going to swap you around and show you what I'm going to do next. So here we have, this is the back panel, and this has to be gathered into this yoke. Yeah. So as you see, there is a lot of excess fabric, and yeah, so that's going to be gathered into the yoke, and it is a double yoke here, so the seams of it will be enclosed within the yoke. So that's going to be quite nice, and I always like that kind of finish because I think it's nicer to wear if it's a double yoke, and B, it just looks nicer because you can't see that seam. Oh, and also, I could have French seamed this seam because, you know, but she said in the video not to do it, and so I overlocked it to clean the edges. And I can see what she means, because even with the overlocked, it feels potentially a little bit bulky. So if it was a French seam, French seams, whilst they're neat, they're creating a very hard kind of bit. So I think it just flows better. So I have sewn the gathering stitches here, and I've pinned, to pieces. So this is basically now all the excess that I have to gather in here. And now I have to gather it without ripping out the threads or breaking them, which is a challenge for me every time. So this step is done. I've attached both yokes and just ironed it a bit. And yeah, next. So we're entering the stage where just loose pieces of fabric suddenly start to become a garment, and it is magic every single time. So this is the beginning of doing the burrito. I've pinned here the shoulder seams. I like to do, like a friend of mine, when she saw how I pinned, she was confused because a lot of people pin, like that. But I quite often pin like this. Mainly because I will forever pin in the wrong direction, and then I get to the sewing machine and then I have to awkwardly remove pins, and I hate that. So I like to do it like this, especially if it's linen or cotton, it's fine. Obviously, if it's something that's a bit more slippery, you will have to, like sort of pin. But then quite often I actually hand tack, so I will use a tacking stitch and tack pieces together rather than stitch if it's really slippery. I know it's a lot more work and people don't like doing it, but that's how my grandma told me, my grandma told me that. As she would put it, only lazy people don't do that, because that was just her style. Anyway, I don't say you're lazy if you don't do it. I totally understand why people don't do it. Hand sewing and machine sewing are two different things. So here it is, the burrito. Once you burrito, you never not burrito. I really like it in terms of finish. So I'm glad that this pattern has that. I also think it makes not only for a neater finish, but also I feel like shirts hang better when they're done that way. So yeah, I like it. As I said, it's now starting to look like a garment, and what's going to happen now is that there's going to be some gathers here and here, which is the next step, and then I'm gonna fix the collar onto it. So I will have to ease the gathered kind of things into the collar, and then I have some binding to put in here, because this sort of is just like a sleeve that sort of hangs down, and then close the side seams and do the hem, of course, and then sew on 6 buttons. Yeah, that's it. First, tea break. This is Earl Grey that I bought in Aberystwyth. They have a really lovely tea shop there, called, I forgot what it's called. It was really lovely. And you can also buy coffee there. I haven't bought any coffee there yet. But yeah, so we're back in Aberystwyth, or yeah, we all go this time, to dog sit. And I shall be stocking up on their Earl Grey and their Blue Lady, which is a different kind of version of Earl Grey, which is also really lovely. And I shall buy some Darjeeling too, because it's good. It's good tea. So the thing that I feared would happen has happened, and that is the collar that I cut. It's just not quite right, because I traced it, and as you can see, the lines here get super confusing. and here as well. I mean, which line is which, huh? So I did it wrong. So I normally don't cut the printouts, I trace it just in case. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a color pen and follow the line and then cut that out. I have thankfully enough fabric left, and obviously enough interfacing so I can do that again. Annoying, but hey ho, better than fudging it. I also decided to not do the rouleau fastening on the collar, because first of all, I would never close it, so I don't mind if that is just a standing collar. And also, I don't have a rouleau turner, and all the other methods of rouleau turning, I just can't do it, and it frustrates me. So normally I would use some ribbon, but I don't have any ribbon that would match. And I also think I would never use the buttons, so why bother? Yeah. I'm on the arm loops now, and it's a really interesting construction. I've never done anything like this before. And yeah, so I'm curious. So basically nothing is sewn on the sides, and you set the round sleeve in. I've done flat sleeves before, but ever so interesting. But I trust her that this works. And yeah, nearly getting there. So, nearly finished. Need to put the buttons on, and obviously I wouldn't wear it with anything underneath. But yeah, quite happy with it. Not quite sure whether this is my style, but I don't know what that is anyway. So yeah, but I like it. It will be a good thing to wear in the summer, I think. On Friday, I wasn't feeling that great, and some sewing, some time to do something with my hands sorted me out again. So let that be a lesson for myself. This is a very, very nifty little gadget. I bought it last year at the quilting show, and it basically threads the needle for you. This is a tiny needle. No boy, my cat is trying to help, and and so it is. Hey, and sorry, he tried to bite me. And yeah, so it's just you've threaded, but it can't do it while holding the phone because one hand has to hold the thing and the other one has to do the other thing. So I just did it, and as you can see, it has formed a loop here. Now I can get that through, and then I can pull it out. So I finished the blouse. I'm quite pleased with it, and I'm definitely pleased that I didn't do the rouleau because I already don't like closing this button here. But yeah, I keep on trying to put my hands in these pants. They don't have pockets, but I think this is quite nice, and it's definitely one of those that that I will wear a lot in the summer because it's linen, and so it is just very light. And yeah, I like it. I think I'm gonna make this again. But yeah, I think this is nice. I like the, I didn't think it would make such a difference. And almost pattern matched here as well, almost by accident. But I didn't think I would like this as much, but I do like it. It is very comfy. I like the sleeves, and I was worried that you would be able to poke all the way up, but you can't. So yeah, I really enjoy this. I do. Still wet from having a shower this morning, so I just wanted to quickly recap my thoughts on this pattern. I am delighted with this piece of clothing, and so I'm glad I made it. What I will say is that I felt on the pattern sheets themselves, with especially for the collar pieces, those little pieces, it would have been good to split out the sizes, so to have the size range, 4 or 5 sizes together, and then split the other sizes out. So to have basically 2 size ranges for the collars and the collar interfacing, because I found that incredibly hard and I got it wrong the first time. So that would have been the thing. Personally, I don't think I'm good enough. Gosh, it's bright suddenly. A good enough sewist to follow the written instructions only. So without the YouTube tutorial, I'm not sure if I would have gotten the button placket or the sleeves. So it probably would have meant a lot of unpicking. I mean, I already unpicked the sleeve once, but that was because it was just the ruler bit was just too big. I'm not sure if I cut the wrong size, because again, the sizes were a bit tricky to figure out, or yeah, I don't know, but I just cut 3 centimeters off the length of that rouleau sleeve thingy, or the rope, like the sleeve band, and that worked much better. So yeah, but overall, I'm really, really pleased. Really pleased. I think the YouTube tutorials I found great, but I found them difficult to find the right bits, because they're split up. And I don't think all of them are in the relevant playlist. So it took a little bit of detective work to get the right one. So yeah, but I'm glad I did it, and I really, really enjoyed it.